Hey budget gardeners, Vita Loca here. Join me today as we winter sow lupin seeds. So let's go. If you've been successful with the winter sowing process and you don't need to learn how to winter sow, feel free to skip to the timestamp shown at the bottom of the screen. Winter sowing is the process of sowing seeds outdoors during the winter months. You can simply scatter the seeds out on the ground, or you can sow the seeds in some sort of a container or pot. When it comes to what kind of container or pot to use, there are so many different choices out there. The big thing is you want to make sure it's translucent or clear. I like to use milk jugs, but I know other people have used juice jugs, rotisserie chicken containers, totes. The possibilities are endless. The big thing is, no matter what container you choose, you want to make sure that it can hold at least 4 inches of soil in it. Your containers should have holes in the top to allow water or moisture to come in. The containers should also have holes in the bottom to allow for proper drainage of water. I like to use potting mix. You can use whatever works for you. The key is to make sure that it's well draining and also that it retains some moisture. You don't want to use a seed starting mix because it's too light, too fluffy, and it will dry out way too quickly. You also don't want to use garden soil because it's very heavy and it's too compacted, which makes it difficult for roots to grow in. There are a ton of benefits when it comes to winter sowing. It's very easy to do, it's cheap. It doesn't require any additional equipment. You don't need any grow lights. You don't need any room inside your house. Another benefit to the winter sowing process is that the seeds will get a natural cold stratification period. That's very important for certain seeds such as perennial seeds. And in the end, your seedlings will be stronger, they'll be healthier, and they'll already be hardened off. You don't need to do the whole hardening off process like you would have to do if you started your plants indoors. Now, there is a certain timeline that you want to follow when it comes to winter sowing. If you start your seeds too early, there is a chance that those seeds will germinate prematurely, and if you get a cold snap, some of those plants that germinate quickly can die. However, if you start your seeds too late, what will happen is certain seeds, like the ones I talked about earlier that need a certain period of cold stratification time, they might not get that full period of cold stratification that those seeds need. So timing is everything. Now, of course, when it comes to the timing, it's going to vary from location to location. A general guideline is you do your winter sowing sometime starting in the month of December, but you want to be done with it sometime about 2 to 3 weeks before your average last frost date. But I want to give you a more specific timeline that I'm going to be following and that you can follow as well. So about 5 to 6 months before your average last frost date, you want to be sowing seeds that are requiring a cold stratification period. And those are usually perennials that are hardy in your area where you live. About 3 to 4 months before your average last frost date, that's a great time to be starting cold hardy plants. Plants that can tolerate cold, but also plants that reseed very easily in your area. Approximately 1 to 2 months before your average last frost date is a good time to start plants that are not cold hardy, plants that do better in warmer temperatures. Now, keep in mind though that when those seeds germinate, if you are going to have a cold snap, if you're going to have some cold nights, cold days, you want to protect those seedlings. You may need to cover them during that time. You may need to bring in your containers just for a few nights during those cold snaps. I did want to add a couple of additional tips for winter sowing. If you want to use milk jugs, but you don't have enough of them, you can also go to local coffee shops and ask if they can clean out and save milk jugs for you. I've done that before with Starbucks, and they've given me bagfuls of cleaned out milk jugs. So if you're in need of milk jugs or anything like milk jugs, ask local coffee shops, grocery stores. They might be able to hook you up. I wanted to mention when I add my potting mix into my milk jugs, I don't pre-moisten all the potting mix. You can do that if you want. Where I live, it is extremely cold during the winter months. As soon as I put the milk jugs outside, they're going to freeze for probably 2 months or so. So that's the reason why I don't pre-moisten my potting mix. I do add some water to the top of it, but that's it. If you live in a much warmer climate, you may need to pre-moisten all of your potting mix. And then finally, when it comes to where to place your containers outside, you want to make sure you're keeping them somewhere where they're not just going to blow around in the wind. Where I live, it doesn't get extremely windy. So I found that as long as I corral all of my containers together, they're fine, they don't blow over. You may need to put some sort of support around your containers. You may need to put them inside of something like a tote. So do what's best for you in terms of making sure that those containers don't blow around outside on a very windy day. So I'm going to start with the plant profile. This plant is very interesting, and I think it's worth mentioning a lot of great attributes and traits about this plant. First of all, I spell lupin L-U-P-I-N-E, but I've noticed that other people spell it L-U-P-I-N. So did you know there are two ways to spell lupin? I thought that was a neat fact. I love lupin, and what I've found is a lot of other people love it as well. It looks beautiful in any landscape atmosphere or environment, but it especially looks nice if you're trying to make a cottage garden. Lupin have beautiful pea-like flowers, and you can find them in lots of colors. You typically find them in a purplish blue color, but you can also find them in red, white, or even yellow. I've been winter sowing lupin seeds for a number of years, and I've had a lot of success. I've made a few videos showing you my process of pricking out the lupin seedlings out of the milk jugs, as well as how to transplant lupin plants from the landscape. And what I'll do is I'll put links to those videos down in the description in case you're interested. Lupin is hardy in USDA zones 3 through 10. That's a very broad range, and it's really going to depend on the variety that you're trying to grow in your growing zone. There are both native as well as non-native or hybrid varieties out there. What I've found, because I have a backyard plant nursery, is that there are quite a few people that are looking specifically for the native variety of lupin. So one of my goals is to order some native lupin seeds and try to grow them so that I can sell them as part of my nursery in the coming years. Remember earlier I mentioned something about peas? Well, did you know that lupin are part of the legume family? Legumes are like beans and peas. And since lupin are part of the legume family, that makes them wonderful nitrogen fixers. They have what's called rhizobium bacteria. The bacteria is responsible for nitrogen fixation in lupins, which are called rhizobium, and that results in nodules on the plant's roots. And because of that, just by having lupin in your landscape, you have a plant that's enriching your soil. And it does that by fixing nitrogen from the air. It adds readily available nitrogen to the soil, enhancing the growth of any crop that's nearby to it. I love that this plant blooms during the spring months. Sometimes it can bloom even in the early to summer months. Now, did you know that after it's done blooming, which usually lasts for about 3 to 5 weeks, if you deadhead it as soon as it's done blooming, it may put off a couple of additional blooms for you. Just don't let your plant go to seed, and you may enjoy some additional blooms. Placement is key. You want to plant lupin in full sun conditions, meaning it should be getting at a minimum 6 hours of sun a day. There's some shorter varieties as well as taller varieties, but they usually grow to 1 to 6 feet in height, which makes them wonderful for cut flower arrangements. The bees, the butterflies, even the hummingbirds are attracted to the blossoms on lupin. And the deer, they don't like lupin, so they typically will stay away from your lupin plants. But you know how deer are. If deer are really hungry and there's nothing else for deer to eat, they may nibble on the lupin, but they leave mine alone, which is nice. Word of warning, lupin contain what are called alkaloids. Those can be toxic to humans as well as livestock and even dogs. So you want to make sure that you're a little careful when it comes to planting them. If you're worried about your dog eating the lupin plants, or you want to keep your children away from the lupin plants, and you just want to make sure if you have livestock that they're nowhere close to those plants. When we sow seeds, it's very important to know if the seeds need to be surface sown, meaning pressed barely into the soil, because there are some seeds that need light to germinate, but then there are also other seeds that need darkness to germinate, and you want to make sure you're covering those seeds. Well, with lupin, they need light to germinate. So when we sow them today, we're just barely going to be pressing them into our soil. And if you did want to cover them, you want to cover them barely, maybe 1/8 of an inch with your potting mix, or you could use something like vermiculite. There's a lot of talk when it comes to how to grow lupin from seed. You'll read things about scarifying or nicking the seeds. You'll read things about soaking the seeds either in a bowl of water or in between paper towels that have been pre-moistened. There are so many different things out there that will tell you how to start your lupin seeds. What I found with the winter sowing process specifically is I don't need to do any of that. And I think part of the reason is the seeds have a hard coat, but as soon as they get winter sown, they're going to get softened up because they're going to get moisture out there. They're going to be cold stratified, which is also very important because lupin do need that cold stratification period. But they are going to basically get softened up by the rain, by the snow, all the elements. However, if you live in an area where you don't get any snow and maybe you don't get a lot of rain, you do have the right temperature to give the seeds the cold stratification, but you don't have the right moisture, then you may want to consider soaking your seeds for 24 hours. And you can definitely do a search on the internet about all of that when it comes to lupin seeds. My experience has been I don't need to do any of it. So if you live in a much colder area like I do, and you get snow and you get rain and your milk jugs are going to freeze, then you shouldn't have to do any of that because I don't, and I have great germination with my lupin seeds. Okay, we've covered a lot here, so let's go ahead and start sowing our lupin seeds. So we're going to start with the milk jug, and this has been cleaned out, so it's good to go. For cutting, I like to use these metal shears. You can use whatever you want, as long as it's sharp. Just be careful because you are using a sharp object. Since we'll be adding 4 inches of soil, we're going to be making our cut somewhere around here. You want to make sure you don't cut all the way across though, because we're going to be using the handle as a hinge to open and close our mini greenhouse. And your cuts don't need to be exact. If one side is lower and one side is higher, it's totally fine. And you can see that we now have a hinge to open and close our greenhouse. You want to throw away your cap. You want this to be open, and that will allow for rain or snow to get into the opening here, or if you just need to water your milk jug, you can do that as well. I'm adding some additional holes in the top. That is optional. You don't need to do that. I'm also going to add holes to the bottom. If you had a much larger container, you'd want to add additional holes towards the center of your container, but I only add them on the edges, and it's been fine in the past. The common question is, how many holes should you add? Well, more is better than less. You want to make sure that your container is getting proper drainage, and also if you want to bottom water, you can do that with your container. So I would prefer to have a couple of extra holes in the bottom if need be. Time to fill this up with some potting mix. I'm just pressing down lightly on the potting mix. I want to eliminate any air pockets that might be in here. This is potting mix that I made myself, DIY mixture. And I'll put a link to my DIY potting mix down in the description below. But it's also used potting mix that I had in one of my container pots. Totally fine to reuse the potting mix. Here are some lupin seeds that I collected last year. We're not going to be sowing all of them, just some of them. I almost always heavily sow my winter sown milk jugs. You'll notice I only have 6 seeds here. And you might be wondering, why am I only doing 6 seeds? The reason is because the lupin plants or seedlings do not like to have their tap roots disturbed. I do not want to have to really mess with my plants once they germinate. So I want to get as much of the soil as I can, and for that reason I'm only going to plant 6 lupin seeds in this milk jug, and you can see I'm spacing them out quite a bit. So we have 3 on this side, 3 on this side. And my goal for next spring is once these germinate, I won't want to disturb the roots a lot. I can come right in with a spoon or a small shovel, and I want to get as much of the soil, as much of the root as I can without disturbing the root. That's what typically kills your lupin plants. Germinating them is not a problem. It's usually the whole process of transplanting or moving them. So I only want to have a small amount of plants in here that I'm going to have to take care of next year. And I'm planning to sow multiple milk jugs of lupin the same exact way. I want to have a lot of plants, but I want my plants to have a great amount of success when it comes to transplanting them. So I'm going to press down a little more, and I'm not going to cover the seeds because lupin seeds need light to germinate. Now you might have had some success with your lupin seeds germinating if you did cover them with soil. I've had luck doing it this way, so I'm going to do it this way again. I always like to add a label with the plant name inside the milk jug, just in case the name gets worn off on the outside of the milk jug. I'm going to use this small hand pump sprayer just to go ahead and spray the seeds and get them a little bit wet. Now as soon as I bring this outside, this milk jug is actually going to freeze. It's pretty cold here in New Hampshire. So adding this a little amount of moisture is enough. In fact, we got quite a bit of snow last night, and we're going to continue getting snow. So as long as we keep having freezing temperatures and we have snow that comes into the hole in the top here, I actually won't need to add any additional moisture to my milk jug for a number of months. But again, where you live, if it's dry and you're not getting any rain or snow, you may need to add additional water during the winter months. Next, we're going to seal our milk jug, and I'm using duct tape. Years ago, I used to seal the whole entire milk jug all the way around with duct tape, and I found that that wasn't necessary, that I was actually wasting a lot of tape that way. So now I prefer to just put maybe 3 pieces of tape on the outside, and that usually holds the milk jug closed for the entire growing season of winter time. And I'm just pressing down. I just want to make sure that the duct tape is held in place. There are so many different ways that you can do this process. I've seen some people punch holes and hold the top and the bottom in place using something like a pipe cleaner. I've seen other people have success just putting tape all the way around. So you can be creative and just use whatever you have on hand for resources. And it's okay if there's a little gap on the sides here, because it's still fine if water gets in there or snow gets in there. Really what we're doing is we're mimicking Mother Nature. When you think about it, many plants drop their seeds outside, and then those seeds germinate when they're ready, when the time is right. And that's basically what we're doing. The only difference is we're doing it in a little bit more of a controlled fashion by using these little mini greenhouses. I'm going to use a garden marker, and I'm just going to label it on here as well. Back in the day, I used to label it directly on my milk jug, but I actually like to reuse my milk jug for a couple of years. So now I like to label the duct tape instead. And I'm putting the plant name down, but I know some people like to just number them. For example, you could put the number 1 on here, and then you might have a spreadsheet, and any of your containers that have the number 1 would have, let's say, Lupin inside of it. And then number 2 would be a different milk jug. And that's another way to do it if you don't want to just write down the whole name on your container. And I'm writing it on all pieces of the duct tape just to be safe. And garden markers are great because they typically hold up to the elements of the rain, the snow, and even the sun. And that's it. Now I can go ahead and place this outside where the rest of my milk jugs are. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I will definitely be bringing you along in the springtime as soon as the lupin seeds have germinated, and I'll show you my process for carefully removing the seedlings from the milk jug, and then what I do to either pot them up or plant them out in my landscape. So let us know, how do you have success with your lupin seeds? Do you scarify them? Do you soak them? Do you winter sow them? What are your secrets? I'd love to know, and I know anyone reading the comments would love to know as well. I have a lot more seed starting to do both outdoors using winter sowing as well as indoors with growing under my grow lights. So be on the lookout for those videos. And until the next video, make it a great day with gardening.